Hi. Hey guys. Good afternoon. Hi everybody. Tina and I have a really fun product review for you guys today. It's a fun little toothpaste. We got a lot of questions back when we did our product review about some other toothpaste and what we really recommend, things like that. So Tina and I have been on the hunt for some new fun products that are safe and that we would truly use ourselves. So I'll let Tina kind of kick it off.
So we get a lot of questions, or have gotten a lot of questions, about these activated charcoal, or also labeled activated carbon toothpaste. Not to be confused with charcoal by itself. And anyway, I saw a journal article recently that compared several ones that are on the market, and the one that we're going to talk about today actually seems very promising, very gentle, and has some really good beneficial ingredients without some of the extra stuff that we try to avoid. So it sounds really promising. I'm going to just talk a little bit about the basic components of toothpaste in case you're wondering. This is basically the simple formula or recipe for all toothpastes that are out there. And first ingredient that's in there is a cleanser or a detergent. That's usually the foaming agent. Most commonly it's sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS. As we know, that can cause some tissue irritation. It causes canker sores in some individuals. So there are some alternative products out there on the market, but just know that is one of the most common detergents in the toothpaste. There we go, that's there. And those products that are labeled as non-SLS tend not to be as foamy or as soapy. So just FYI. The next ingredient is some type of an abrasive. This is usually labeled as hydrated silica, which is another word for really fine sand or glass particles. Sometimes in more gentle toothpaste, there's really not much abrasive in there. Sometimes the abrasive is in the form of baking soda. Next thing there is on the list are therapeutic agents. Most commonly, this involves fluoride in some form. There are different types of fluoride. It can also be with added minerals such as calcium and phosphorus minerals, arginine, and enzymes. Other therapeutic components include peroxide and baking soda. Then there's flavors, there's moisturizers. FYI, the moisturizers are usually glycerin or sorbitol or water. There are antibacterial agents. Not all toothpastes have this. The most common one is triclosan. Do your own research on that. I personally will not put that in my mouth, so I will avoid toothpaste with that ingredient in it. And there was recently, within the last year, I think there was even was it the FDA that put out a statement as showing that it's actually not more helpful to use an antibacterial soap for your hands versus regular soap. They're not finding that ingredient to be overwhelmingly or statistically significant. So if you're trying to limit added chemicals, that's another one you can eliminate. Most toothpastes have preservatives in them. There are some that don't, on the more natural side. And those may or may not be needed depending on what is in your toothpaste. Then there's colors, sweeteners. This can be artificial or a natural based sweetener that is non-sugar. So the most common artificial ones are of course saccharin and aspartame. Would not use those myself. Again, that's up to you if you want to have the toothpaste with that. Or the more common healthy options are xylitol and or stevia. Yeah. I couldn't think of that one. And then there's a thickening agent in there, and that's usually xanthan gum or carrageenan. So in a nutshell, that's what's in our toothpaste and why those ingredients are in there. And Tay, do you want to talk about that? Okay.
Yeah, so you guys know how much I love talking about RDA, the relative dentin abrasivity, and what that is how abrasive the toothpaste is against our enamel. So, a lot of times there's a higher RDA for toothpaste that claim that they're whitening because they literally scrub off or strip off the stain from the outer layer of the tooth surface. And so what Tina and I typically recommend is a low abrasive toothpaste. Most of us hygienists here in the office, all of us do recommend a low abrasivity toothpaste, just for the fact that we want to preserve your enamel. And we understand that you want to find the whitening factors, and that's why we're doing all this research for you to find those safe products that you can use. But a low abrasivity toothpaste is super important. It might have less effective stain control, but there's also some other like chemical stain lifters, obviously like what we're going to talk about today with some of that, the activated charcoal in a use safely with the particle size. It's not going to be etching the enamel. And we also want you to, stray away from the RDA values that are higher. So when we say low RDA value, we're talking about typically 100 or less. The FDA, take that for what you will, kind of stamps that as anything above 250 is not deemed safe for use on your enamel. 200 is like the absolute highest you ever want to go towards. I personally don't use anything over 100. So just, always be aware of that. There's always studies that you can find, and your RDA value should always come with a specific number. There's no such thing as a range of RDA value. When it is tested, it has to fall on a number. So just be aware of that as well when you're doing your own research.
And I'll add, because there's so many fly-by-night companies that are making different products, especially toothpaste. If you can't find an RDA value for that toothpaste, you should be wary of that product. That means that they haven't gone through all the channels and maybe aren't even disclosing what that value is. And anyway, that's a key piece of information. We've got a chart here that what we'll do, why don't we just take a picture of it later, and we'll post it in the comments, but we'll go over just some of the real popular toothpaste so you know where they are. Remember, the goal is to stay under 100. Just for a comparison, using your toothbrush with just plain water is an RDA of 4, so that's about as low as you can get. Baking soda is just right at that number at a 7. It's still very low. Pronamel, which is a very popular toothpaste, it runs 34, and that's really nice in the low abrasive. Arm & Hammer, generally in the lower RDAs of 35, 40. Tom's of Maine runs in the high 40s and low 50s. Again, there's several different varieties of toothpaste, so these aren't going to be accurate for every single one. One thing that you might find really interesting is that Crest Pro Health, which is one of the most popular pastes, why I don't know, it's not my favorite.
You've heard us talk about that before.
Is at a 155, and that is really getting close to that 200 number, and it is really abrasive. Interestingly enough, it's also marketed as a desensitizing toothpaste, and it does have an ingredient in there for that, but it's not going to counteract that abrasivity. And then some of the medium range, let's just say like 100 to 120, we've got Colgate Herbal, Prevident 5000 Booster. That's interesting. I didn't realize that was on there. And regular Crest is 110. So that gives you a little bit of an idea. The highest one on here is, and I need to look into this because it doesn't say exactly which one it is Nature's Gate. That actually happens to be one of my favorite brands.
I know, yeah.
But they have several varieties of paste, so I'm going to be doing my homework on that because that will be disappointing for me. So even we get surprised by the things we like, but we'll post this so you can see it. And then we'll move on to the fun, exciting stuff.
Yeah. So, Tina came across this company a little while ago, and we finally just got some samples in and we're able to try it for ourselves. And it's called Corpuz. That's the brand.
Sorry, it's reversed, guys.
I know. So it's called Black is White Whitening Toothpaste. And when she told me about this, I'm not gonna lie, I thought, oh my gosh, Tina, what did you find? Because you know how I am with my activated charcoal spiel. I was like, okay, I need to trust Tina. She has my back on this one, and I'm super impressed. the activated charcoal particles in this paste are nanoparticles, so they're not abrasive like when you go get your activated charcoal from Walmart or like the coconut tooth powder, charcoal tooth powder. This is different because it's in a paste form already. It's broken down into a size that it's not abrasive against our teeth. The RDA value of this paste specifically is 76.
And that's not true for all of these types of toothpaste.
Yes.
In the article that I read in my journal, there were several other brands, maybe 10 other brands, and they were all in the 150 plus range, if I remember correctly. There weren't any close to this one. So that's why this one caught my attention. So it's low abrasive, which is really exciting.
Yeah. So the low RDA value is fabulous, especially, you know, kind of with the trend where everybody wants to follow that, do the fun hip thing. So this was the Curaprox Black is White is a good paste to go towards. It's also SLS free. So if you have any issues with your tissue sloughing, canker sores, I personally am SLS free or sensitive, so I have to go with all the free products. And so I was super happy about that. No bleaching agents. There's the enzymes added and the hydroxylapatite, which can actually help remineralize some of those areas and work with the fluoride that is in the paste to, protect our teeth from cavities and any lesions that might be beginning. So
funny thing, I don't know if you noticed it on their website. They're talking about the hydroxylapatite components, and it says that it snuggles up to the enamel.
I did see that.
It's corny, but it just made me funny. But so those are the good points of Curaprox. The bad point, there's pros and cons to everything. Mm-hmm. The immediate con with this toothpaste is it's expensive. Mm-hmm. It's running, you can order it yourself from their company. Just go to curaprox.com. It runs, I think, $25 per tube. So, that being said, there's plenty of other stain lifting pastes out there that are low on the RDA values that may work just as well for you if you don't want to invest in an expensive toothpaste. The other thing is it's relatively new category of toothpaste. Again, there's tons of pastes that are similar to this. We don't know really how healthy or safe those are. This one I would definitely say it's fine, and I actually have used it a couple of times and it's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But there are many similar products, and therefore there can be some product confusion, and we don't want the wrong paste getting in your hands. So that's it in a nutshell. And it doesn't have a lot of other fillers. This particular one even is a fresh lime mint. Personally, I didn't taste the lime. I was surprised that was in there, but gosh, I don't even really want to go through all the ingredients in here, but if you look it up, you can find all the ingredients on there. I
will say with the flavor of this, you can tell that it's not that gritty abrasiveness, excuse me, and so I was really happy with that. And the mint is not like that burn. I know some people get really weary of that. It's that really nice fresh mint flavor. And it doesn't, also, I've tried some activated charcoal paste. Yeah.
I'm actually going to get my toothbrush
out.
Just
do it.
When we finish, I'll
do it. You can sometimes taste like dirt. That's what it tastes like to me. That's the only way I can describe it, but very earthy flavor. And this paste does not have that. So that's what I really like. Tina will show you. It's honestly frightening when you start to brush with it, but it's really neat. I also found that this doesn't stain the gingiva. Here's this one's open. A lot of times the gingival margin, the gum tissue, can become stained when you're using activated charcoal paste, and I haven't found that.
It's black. I wasn't joking.
This company also, they do have a gum. They call it their whitening gum. Okay, girlfriend, you go for it.
Here we go.
Notice Tina's fabulous toothbrush technique too, please. Tiny little circles at the gum line. But do be careful with this because I noticed I kind of got it on the outside of my face, and I had a little spot for a little bit.
I'm trying not to make a fool out of myself.
But yeah, they have a gum. A really nice gum, actually, that the flavor lasts a long time. I chewed the gum yesterday, and I'm not a huge gum chewer, and I actually liked it. it's a good idea, you know, now hygienists, we kind of say, you know, brush, rinse, floss, and chew, especially after meals, just to bring that acid drop back to a neutral base. And when it has the xylitol in it, which this gum does, it brings that pH level in the saliva. If you remember us talking about that a few weeks ago, it brings that back up to a neutral state. So it's really nice.
Beautiful. Did I rinse it all out?
Yes, you did.
This morning,
did.
I had actually had some stuff right along the side of my lips. So anyway,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. So it was just kind of fun for us to try this. This is new for both of us, and hopefully you guys get a kick out of it, and maybe it piques your curiosity a little bit. We'll get that chart posted in the comments, and again, let us know if you have any other questions or if there's anything else you want to know about.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.